Welcome back to Techwem and get ready for our latest podcast, which is about to blow your mind with OT cybersecurity knowledge you cannot afford to miss. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid, and today we're diving headfirst into a topic that could make or break industries, that is OT cybersecurity. Whether you're in power plants, manufacturing, or safeguarding critical infrastructure, stick around. This episode will arm you with killer interview questions and insights to ace any discussion. We're going to break down why securing operational technology is different from IT security, the biggest threats industries face, and most importantly, how organizations and individuals can protect themselves. I'm excited to have a special guest with me today, Noman, an expert in OT cybersecurity with over a decade experience. He's worked extensively in securing industrial control systems, protecting critical infrastructure, and understanding the evolving threat landscape. Noman, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Ismail. It's great to be here. OT cybersecurity is something that's not talked about enough outside of the industrial world, yet it affects everyone, from the energy sector to transportation to even the water we drink. I'm looking forward to unpacking all of this with you today.
Absolutely. To start things off, let's clear up a fundamental question. What exactly is operational technology, OT, and how does it differ from information technology, IT?
That's a great place to start. In simple terms, OT is the technology that controls the physical world, whereas IT is focused on data and information processing. Let's take an example. Imagine a power plant. The control systems that regulate the turbines, manage the voltage, and ensure a stable electricity supply. That's OT. Now, the servers handling email, financial records, and customer databases in the same organization, that's IT. The key difference is that OT systems are responsible for real-world operations. They monitor and control things like electricity grids, water treatment facilities, and manufacturing assembly lines. The priorities in OT are different from IT. While IT security is primarily concerned with confidentiality, ensuring data is protected, OT security is focused on availability and integrity. If an industrial control system gets disrupted, it can lead to physical damage, financial losses, and in some cases, even loss of life. That makes cybersecurity and OT a completely different ballgame.
That's a very important distinction. I think most people are familiar with IT security breaches, but OT cybersecurity is still a growing concern. Why do you think OT systems have become such a major target for cyber criminals and even nation state actors?
There are several reasons. First, many OT systems were designed decades ago with no cybersecurity in mind. These systems were built for efficiency, uptime, and reliability, not for connecting to the internet. However, as industries move towards digitalization and integrate these systems with IT networks, they have become exposed to cyber threats. Secondly, OT environments often rely on legacy systems, software and hardware that may be 20 or even 30 years old. Patching and updating them is extremely difficult because downtime isn't an option. Imagine telling a power grid operator that they need to shut down a plant to apply a security patch. It's not feasible. Lastly, the impact of an OT cyber attack can be catastrophic. Unlike an IT breach where data is stolen, an OT attack can result in physical consequences. A hacker taking control of a chemical plant, for example, could manipulate temperatures and pressure levels to cause an explosion. That's why cyber criminals, hacktivists, and even state-sponsored attackers see OT as a high-value target.
That's a terrifying reality, and I think a lot of people don't fully grasp how serious these risks are. Can you share some real world incidents that highlight just how dangerous OT cyber threats can be?
Absolutely. One of the most infamous cases is the Stuxnet attack from 2010. This was a highly sophisticated cyber weapon designed to sabotage Iran's nuclear program. The malware specifically targeted Siemens PLCs, which controlled uranium enrichment centrifuges. By subtly altering their speeds, Stuxnet caused the centrifuges to fail while appearing normal to operators. This attack was a wake-up call to the world because it proved that cyber attacks could cause real-world destruction. Another big one was the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack in 2021. A ransomware group called DarkSide managed to infect the IT systems of Colonial Pipeline, the largest fuel pipeline operator in the US. Fearing the attack could spread to their OT systems, Colonial Pipeline shut down operations for several days. This resulted in fuel shortages, panic buying, and economic disruptions across multiple states. The attackers weren't even specifically targeting OT, but the mere possibility of cross-contamination was enough to cause a major crisis. And then there's the Triton malware attack in 2017. This one is particularly scary because it targeted safety instrumented systems, SIS, in a petrochemical plant. These systems are designed to shut down operations in case of danger, like a gas leak or pressure overload. Triton tried to disable these safety mechanisms, which could have led to a catastrophic industrial accident. Fortunately, the attack was caught before disaster struck.
These stories really highlight the importance of cybersecurity in OT environments. So let's get into some practical advice. If someone is working in an industrial setting, what are the first steps they should take to secure their OT systems?
The first thing you need to do is understand what you have. Many organizations don't even have a clear inventory of their OT assets. You can't protect what you don't know exists. Mapping out your entire network and identifying every critical control system, sensor, and connected device is the foundation of security. Once you have a clear view of your environment, the next step is network segmentation. You should separate IT and OT networks so that an attack on one does not easily spread to the other. The Purdue Model is a great framework for this. It divides industrial networks into layers and ensures that critical control systems remain isolated. Another essential step is access control. OT networks should not be accessible to just anyone. Using multi-factor authentication, strict user permissions, and role-based access controls can drastically reduce the risk of insider threats or credential theft. Regular patch management is also crucial, but it can be tricky in OT environments. Since downtime isn't always possible, companies should prioritize patching the most vulnerable systems first and apply compensating security controls, like firewalls and intrusion detection systems when updates aren't feasible.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about slapping on security tools, it's about building a layered defense strategy that considers the constraints of OT environments. We have talked about the threats and some best practices, but let's get into something that industries cannot ignore: regulations. OT cybersecurity isn't just about best practices. Many industries are legally required to implement security measures. Now, Man, what are some of the major regulatory frameworks that organizations need to follow?
That's a great point, Ismail. Governments and regulatory bodies have started enforcing cybersecurity measures for critical infrastructure. Because a cyber attack doesn't just impact one company, it can affect entire nations. Let's go over a few of the most important ones. First, there's IEC 62443, which is one of the most widely adopted standards for industrial cybersecurity. It provides a comprehensive framework for securing OT environments, covering everything from risk assessments to technical controls. Another big one is NIST Cybersecurity Framework, CSF. This is widely used in North America and provides a structured approach for organizations to identify, protect, detect, respond to, and recover from cyber incidents. For the power industry, there's NERC CIP, North American Electric Reliability Corporation, Critical Infrastructure Protection. This one is specifically designed for securing power grids and ensuring electricity supply isn't disrupted by cyber attacks. And globally, we also see frameworks like GDPR and ISO 27001, which, while primarily focused on IT security, also have implications for OT environments, especially when dealing with data protection and system integrity. The key takeaway is that compliance isn't optional. Failing to meet these cybersecurity requirements can lead to massive fines, reputational damage, and, in the worst cases, operational shutdowns. Companies need to integrate these frameworks into their security strategy, not just for compliance, but to truly protect their critical systems.
It's clear that the OT cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving. Looking ahead, what are some emerging trends and technologies that will shape the future of OT security?
Great question. The attack surface is growing as industries adopt more digital transformation initiatives, so cybersecurity strategies need to evolve as well. Here are some key trends shaping the future of OT security. One major trend is the adoption of AI and machine learning for threat detection. Instead of relying on traditional rule-based security systems, industries are deploying AI-driven security solutions that can identify anomalies in real time. If a system suddenly starts behaving abnormally, AI can detect it faster than a human analyst. Another important shift is the move towards Zero Trust Architecture, ZTA. The old approach of trusting anything inside the network is no longer valid. With Zero Trust, every request, whether it's coming from inside or outside the network, must be verified before access is granted. This approach is particularly crucial for OT environments where insider threats and lateral movement attacks are growing concerns. We're also seeing more blockchain-based security models. While blockchain is often associated with cryptocurrencies, its application in OT cybersecurity is promising. Blockchain can be used for creating tamper-proof logs, ensuring data integrity, and providing secure identity verification for industrial devices. And let's not forget cloud-based OT security solutions. Traditionally, industrial environments relied on on-premise security tools, but more companies are now moving to hybrid security models where monitoring and threat intelligence are managed in the cloud. This provides better scalability and real-time global monitoring of threats. The future of OT cybersecurity is all about proactive security measures. Organizations can't afford to wait for an attack to happen. They need to continuously improve their defenses using the latest technologies.
With everything we have discussed today, I imagine many of our listeners might be interested in starting a career in OT cybersecurity. So, Nauman, what's your advice for someone who wants to enter this field?
That's an excellent question. And I love that more people are getting interested in this field because the demand for OT cybersecurity professionals is skyrocketing. If you're starting from scratch, here's the path I'd recommend. First, build a strong foundation in IT security. Learn the basics of networking, operating systems, and cybersecurity principles. Certifications like CompTIA Security Plus or Certified Ethical Hacker CEH are great starting points. Next, you need to specialize in industrial systems. OT security is very different from IT security, so you'll need to understand industrial protocols like Modbus, DNP3, and OPC UA. A great certification for this is GIAC's Global Industrial Cybersecurity Professional GICSP. Hands-on experience is key. If you can, try to work with programmable logic controllers, PLCs, SCADA systems, and industrial control systems, ICS. There are online labs and simulation environments where you can practice. And finally, stay updated, follow cybersecurity news, attend OT security conferences, and engage with the community. Cyber threats are constantly evolving, so continuous learning is a must in this field.
We reached out to our listeners and collected some common questions they have about OT cybersecurity. Let's go through a few of them. First question: I work in a small manufacturing company and we don't have a cybersecurity team. Where do I start?
If you don't have a dedicated security team, start with the basics. Perform a security audit to identify weak points in your system. Segment your network so that your industrial control systems are not exposed to IT networks or the internet. Implement strict user access controls and train employees on cybersecurity awareness. Even small steps can make a huge difference.
Another question: what's the biggest mistake companies make when it comes to OT cybersecurity?
One of the biggest mistakes is assuming we're too small to be a target. Attackers don't care how big or small you are. They care about vulnerabilities. Another mistake is not having an incident response plan. When an attack happens, companies scramble because they have no predefined procedures on how to respond. Preparing for incidents in advance is crucial.
Another one: are there any tools or software you recommend for OT security monitoring?
There are many great tools available. Nozomi Networks and Claroty are leading providers of industrial cybersecurity solutions that offer deep visibility into OT networks. Splunk and CM solutions can also be integrated for log monitoring and analysis. And for intrusion detection, tools like Snort and Suricata are excellent choices.
This has been an incredibly insightful discussion, Noman. Before we wrap up, what's your final advice for industries and individuals looking to improve their OT cybersecurity?
My final message is simple. Don't wait for a cyber attack to take security seriously. The best security strategy is a proactive one. Whether you're an organization securing critical infrastructure or an individual looking to enter this field, the key is to stay ahead of threats, continuously improve security measures, and never stop learning. OT security is a challenge, but it's also one of the most rewarding fields because you're protecting systems that the world relies on.
Wise words, Noman. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's discussion, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Stay secure, and we'll see you next time on Techwem.